welcome back to the Bad Movie Reviews channel, hosted by none other than myself, Ben, and Daniel. We've got Daniel back. You've probably already seen our review of Missing anyway, but we're coming up to the release of Ant-Man Quantumania, which is next week in Australia, and it's technically, or it is, the start of Phase 5 for Marvel.
Couple of days through Phase 5. 4 went quick.
4 went very quick. It ended with Black Panther, but we're coming up to Quantumania, start of Phase 5, so I thought no better time than now to, obviously we've probably only reviewed one film in the Marvel universe, which would be Black Panther, which Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah, we didn't,
because Ragnarok, sorry, Love and Thunder was before we started doing this, but thought would be a perfect time to collect our thoughts, go through the Phase 1 to 4, excluding the TV shows because I don't really think they matter, to be fully honest with you, as brutal as it sounds, but I've created this and done it in alphabetical order. So we'll actually start off with Ant-Man, funnily enough. We'll go Ant-Man 1. Ant-Man 1. Yeah. You probably don't remember it.
The
Ant-Man 1 I really enjoyed.
I really enjoyed this film.
And I think the reason why is because they actually really utilized the fact that he can grow. The whole scene with the train sequence and like the whole fight with, even though Yellow Jacket was a bit of a mid villain as the Zoomers say now.
Like it was like a lot of Marvel movies where they kind of really make that main hero kind of like overbearingly powerful sometimes. It didn't feel like that with Ant-Man. It felt like he was like a human who's just somehow become a superhero.
Just wanted the particle.
He was like, oh, now I'm a superhero. He's like, what do I do? Like I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
I enjoyed it. I guess in terms of where we would place it, because when I think about Marvel films, there are some really, really like great movies.
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably more towards either upper B or lower A. But it's hard to say just because obviously we haven't placed any other films.
Yeah, why don't we look at like replacing it maybe later? But I'm happy with a B. Put it in the middle of the range.
The first one.
We'll set that as our like nice base point.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is the next one.
Well, I watched that recently.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, good luck on that one, honestly. Average movie. In all honesty, not as good as I enjoyed it, not as good as the first.
It had its like important story arc aspects, but it definitely wasn't good as the first.
No.
I'm going to go pretty much straight out of limb here. It wasn't the worst out of all the Marvel films, but it was definitely no higher than a C.
I would actually agree with you and say like low C. I think it's definitely important in the fact that it obviously sets up it kind of sets up the whole Infinity War.
Yeah, it does, without a doubt,
But that's really kind of all it serves. So.
Well, it sets up this phase too, technically. Phase 5.
Well, it sets up
the quantum realm related travel. So
you're
right. It's got a lot going for it, but it had a lot that it missed out on too.
You're right.
Oh, look, next one, Avengers.
Yeah. Look, Avengers 1.
Avengers
1.
That's
actually. Fuck, man.
What?
Oh no, here we go. Avengers 1. I fucked that up.
Image
I was looking and I was like, did I leave out the film? We'll go Avengers 1.
Okay.
I think this is going straight to
S tier. Yeah.
I don't think it's by any means the best Marvel film, and we'll place.
You got to look at what it did for the whole.
I think it is a seriously good film. Like there's nothing more else I can say. It obviously was the first film where it set up the mix of superheroes, and I think when it came out, which was 2012.
Yep.
It was so high. I was year 10 in high school. It was so hype. I was
working at the cinema too.
Yeah.
Love cleaning up after that.
It was phenomenal.
So I'm happy with S tier. Chuck that one straight up the top.
It might be lower sort of tier of the S category, but
cool.
Avengers Age of Ultron is an interesting one. I was super hyped for it, and I kind of thought it was a letdown. Looking back on it, I think it's an okay movie, but I just think the villain of Ultron was so underutilized, and
I agree completely.
Like
with a lot of
the
things.
whole side arc of the Eastern European country, I just thought
I liked what it created for the universe again, and obviously set up one of the movies I'll probably rate pretty high, which was Civil War, because I really enjoyed that film overall. But you're right. It was missing some of the aspects that the first one had. It probably had really high expectations to beat, and because it didn't meet them, to let itself down. For me, this is a middle of the road B.
See, I think it's B, but I think it's probably lower than Ant-Man 1.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So high B, mid B, maybe.
Yeah, like there'll probably be something above there. I don't know. But
gotcha,
I just think it's a middle of the road, like it's a decent film. The next one, however, Infinity War. The next Avengers film, which I think is an unbelievable movie.
Yeah.
I think it is seriously good. You obviously have everything that's preceded it coming to a sort of climactic point of the MCU. Obviously, you had Endgame, but I personally think Infinity War is better than Endgame.
Ooh, they both have some great.
They both have some great moments. Like I think Endgame has some great moments, but I think Infinity War is just genuinely like when you have everyone teaming up, going around the world to essentially try and stop Thanos, and the way it ended with the snap. Like, you got to remember the whole Wakanda.
That is true.
Yeah, like, I think the way it ended, and then the fact that, you know, you had Endgame coming out like a year later and you thought everyone was dead, and it was just like...
Yeah, it was the only movie, I reckon, like Marvel movie where I've gone, I'm trying to think of new ideas. What's happened next? What is this? What happened after
Yeah, like
this
for a
moment
good year and a half, it was
God,
all
it's
people
all I
could
could think
talk about.
about.
I think it's going straight to S.
Yeah, straight to S
But
tier.
above Avengers 1?
Yeah.
You do?
I
You
do.
reckon?
It's hard because, you know, I've got that nostalgia feel for the original Avengers, but for me, it's just it's embedded in my brain of just beauty.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it obviously ties in. We've got Endgame.
Yeah.
Which I think is still a great movie.
Yeah.
I think it'd be top 10 for my Marvel, top 5.
Yep.
I don't know whether I'm placing it S or A, though. I don't know what you think.
Look, I'm thinking high A, low S.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there for same, because it was like it shook you from the first like 20 minutes. You were like, you weren't expecting what this was going to happen. Let's deal with the hardship. And then, you know, can we talk about spoilers?
Yeah. I mean, it came out 5 years ago.
Like, and Thanos died in the first 20 minutes. And I was like, you fucking what? I was like, what happened?
Within the first 3 seconds where they go to,
I could not believe it. So, but like the fight scene, for me, just gives it the prop to go up to S tier. Otherwise, it was
the end.
below.
I think for now, I reckon let's chuck it A just to populate that field.
Yeah, I'm okay with
and
that.
then
we can
we'll look at it at the end. Black Panther 1.
Yep.
I think this is an S tier movie for me.
I
thought it was apart from the last sequence, which is the fight with T'Challa and Killmonger. I thought this film was genuinely so well done. The whole introduction of Wakanda. I think it's probably one of the best origin movies that we have in the MCU.
Agreed. Yep. Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's better. I think probably bottom S. Or what do you think?
Probably low S.
Probably better.
I wouldn't put it under A. I think it deserves better.
Yeah, I'm thinking lower than Avengers.
Yeah, low S.
The next one, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which is the most recent one we've obviously seen.
Yep. For me, I'm going to go straight off the bat here, not even talk too much about the movie, but that's instant B for me.
I think it's top of B, because I thought in terms of the story and what they've done with like Chadwick and
look,
I'm actually thinking
the movie had too much going on with it. It was telling too many stories at the same time, all these different kind of compounding like plots that were going on. But the acting was probably the best I've seen in a Marvel movie.
It was the first MCU movie that's ever gotten an Academy Award nomination.
Angela
Bassett may even win at this point.
For me, I thought the movie was like okay, but the acting really
I think it's probably on par for Ant. I think it's better than Age of Ultron.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Purely for performances alone.
Yeah.
Next one's an interesting one, an origin story that kind of stands alone very much so. Black Widow. I thought the introduction of the film was probably one of the best. Like when you're dealing with child kidnapping and selling children on the black market, I was like, shit, this is MCU going dark. And then the film really only good part for me was
Red Guardian.
Yelena. Yeah, Red Guardian and Yelena and Black Widow's relationship. I think this is straight away low C.
Yeah.
Like lower than Wasp.
It wasn't fantastic, yeah.
No.
But it had some, it's probably one of the funniest ones, only because of...
Gunny.
Yeah, what's that actor's name?
David Harbour.
That's it.
From Stranger Things, Hellboy,
love
yeah.
him.
No, I would agree.
Yep.
This one, I'm actually curious. I don't know if we've ever chatted about this, but about what we think of the first Captain America.
Look, I loved it.
I actually adore. I absolutely adore this film. I think it's like, for me, genuinely.
Yeah, you're putting it
low A
exactly
tier.
where I'm thinking.
I thought it was a great film
I'm
that
thinking
introduced,
mid-A, not low A, but mid-A.
Yeah, well, yeah. Currently, that is mid-A. Currently, I think in terms of what it dealt with, in terms of introducing a character, obviously dealing with World War II, and even Red Skull, I thought was probably one of the best Marvel villains we've gotten to this stage. No other more I can say about it.
Introduction to the origin of like the Tesseract and new things like that too was it was great. I really enjoyed this film. I think mid-A to low A is pretty good based on our current rankings.
Current ratings?
Yeah.
Civil War is the next one.
Yeah,
which I think is straight to S.
Yeah, done. I'm glad you and I think very similar to
I think to explain it why is I think it was the first Marvel film that really dealt into like the politics side of things and it really dealt with a lot more than just being a superhero film. It was kind of like a spy espionage thriller.
Yeah.
And it dealt with obviously Captain America being like blacklisted by not Stark Industries, sorry, the American government and things like that. And I thought
really loved seeing them all like fight me opposite. Also, that was Winter Soldier that you had your mouse over there too, just so you know. Civil War's the one next to it.
I'm talking about Winter Soldier. I'm thinking Winter Soldier,
You
sorry.
said Civil War.
Yeah, I might have said Civil War, but I'm going by sequel, so I'm thinking Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
Which is obviously the introduction of Winter Soldier.
Look, for different reasons, I also rank it pretty high, probably high A, low S. Look, it was great. It was really good, and I really like the... I know it's going to sound dumb, but like the abruptness at the start of like the winter and the fighters, they're like breaking out of like that fortress or whatever they were coming from. Because my memory is really rough there. Probably people making fun of me. But look, good film. And you already know my opinion on Civil War. It's probably to S to high.
I'm happy to chuck it S.
Yeah.
I don't know if I personally enjoy it more than Winter Soldier because I feel like the ending fight scene was really cool and you had the introduction of Spider-Man, but the ending fight scene, like it also was so plain in an airport and it kind of annoyed me. Like it could have done anything, if that makes sense. They're just fighting in an empty airport.
It's got one of like a very iconic line though that I quote to some of my mates all the time, and that is America's ass. And look, fantastic. Look,
I think that's Winter Soldier.
No, it's not. It's Civil War.
Okay, I might be wrong.
I thought it was
Winter Soldier because he's getting.
It's not. It's Endgame. Endgame Winter Soldier because he goes back in time to go get the stone again. And he fights himself and then he knocks himself out.
Yeah, you're right.
That's America's ass.
Yeah.
Damn, I got that one wrong. Anyway, I really enjoyed this film. For me, I'd swap those two around, but because of our differencing in opinions, we'll just put it up at S. We might move it down to A later, but put it at S for now.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that. Captain Marvel. I think this is going straight to C.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's a decent film, but I just don't like it. To be honest, nothing for me is memorable about it.
That's fair. I completely agree.
I love how you say interesting.
Yeah, which is interesting. I thought you'd enjoy this more than me, but I was just like, what really happened?
I actually genuinely think it's lower than Black Widow as well. I really think it's an average movie.
I thought it was very average. And like her character hasn't enough influence on the whole entire universe.
No, she's really she's been introduced and kind of
came in at the end of Endgame and blew up a ship and then
nothing.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. She's kind of done nothing since, to be fully honest with you.
We shall see.
Where the other character, which we'll go through, has done a lot, which is Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
the first one.
I really enjoyed.
I enjoyed
this
it.
film.
I think it's probably
it had some shortcomings. For me, it's like a low A.
See, I'd probably chuck it high B for me because I don't think looking at A, I don't think it's similar to first Captain America or.
I think
Avengers.
I enjoyed it more than Ant-Man though.
Yeah, which you chuck at top B.
Top B? Okay, yeah, I'm okay with top B.
Which I enjoyed it probably more than Ant-Man.
Yeah.
The second one, however, Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, for me, this one did not click. I don't know how it felt for you, but it did not click for me. This is like a middle of the road C.
Yeah, no, I'd probably
I've never seen a worse use of 3D ever.
I'd probably chuck it behind Wasp.
Yeah.
The 3D, it was extremely odd.
thought it
I
was
think
gonna
it's
be
an okay film. I just think it was, to be fair, I'll give it props. It was extremely difficult because after No Way Home, the introduction of the multiverse, everyone was expecting it to go absolutely nuts, have all these cameos, and it was kind of almost set up to fail
Agreed.
by the general audience.
Definitely set up to fail.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think where you've placed it's pretty good, like a middle of the road C. I did like some of the like cameo related stuff in it, but like with 3D, I thought with that like beautiful multiverse kind of thing, we're going to get something good out of it.
Yeah, nothing was utilised.
It would have been just the exact same watching it standard.
Yeah. Eternals is the next one, which I actually personally think is underrated. I think it's hated. Like a lot of people I know put it there as their worst Marvel film.
Oh no, I'm not thinking.
Which
worst,
I think it's probably,
for me, it's like a B or a C.
I think it's a bottom, like very, very bottom of B.
Yeah, I'm thinking bottom.
I think it's probably the best looking Marvel film.
Yeah,
Like its cinematography is ridiculous, and you have such a great cast in it, like Barry
that was my
Keoghan.
next part. Also sets up some future films.
Yeah, I think it's the worst of the Bs.
I think it's the worst of the Bs. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Which I think we're halfway through.
Yeah, we're doing
now.
pretty good. We're actually kind of going a bit through it quicker than I thought we would.
Yeah, we might take a quick drink break.
Yeah, that's fair.
And we'll come back at you. Next one,
Yeah, alrighty.
very anticipated for me because I would love to know your thoughts. The first Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm going to be honest. I really enjoyed this.
I think I'm not even. I'll be dead set honest. I would personally put this at number 1.
Ooh,
Like that's where I am with. I think the first Guardians is so good. It's not even funny. Like you have the introduction. It was when
It's
you
the best sounding one too.
When did it come out? 2014. It came out after the Avengers. It was the first film that dealt with obviously like the fact that you're in space.
Yeah.
It was the first like in terms of Marvel film that really went out of their way to create something unique.
Yep.
And I think the introduction of all the characters are seriously good. It's the first film that I genuinely was probably crying of laughter in a Marvel film. And it's probably the first one where I got seriously emotional too.
Okay. Yeah.
And I genuinely I think both Guardians are seriously good. I think the second's a little bit worse. Not worse, but not as good.
Yep.
But I genuinely would chuck Guardians. To be honest, it would probably interchange just due to nostalgias at the day. But I would chuck it top 3 easily.
You're going to be interested to see what my opinion is on this then.
But you'll probably chuck one.
Would you be upset if I said it was around like the C tier?
Absolutely.
Yeah, good, because I put it about second, I reckon, overall.
I was genuinely going to sit there and be like, fuck, this guy chucks Guardians on the same level as Ant-Man and the Wasp. You'd chuck it at 2.
I'd chuck it as 2. For me...
I'd chuck it at... I'd allow it.
Thank you.
I said top 3 at least.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, you have like the fact that... I think what Infinity War has going for it is the fact that it's obviously the culmination and it's like led up to this for the last 15, 10 years.
It was beautiful to see too. It was great.
I actually am very keen to rewatch Guardians 1 heading into Guardians 3 because I think it's so good. Guardians 2 is the next one, which I think's low A.
What happened in Guardians 2 again?
Guardians 2 is the one with Kurt Russell where he finds out that his dad planted like the cancer in his mum.
Yep.
And then
he's
you've
actually
got,
like
you've
a
got
god.
Yondu who... Yeah, you had the fatherly figure in Yondu. You learn that he's actually kind of a good guy. And I thought it was a seriously emotional film. At the time, it got a bit of hate. I remember it got a bit of mixed reviews from fans because I think they were expecting something extremely funny in Guardians 1. And they were expecting a similar thing. I think the audience kind of set it up to fail in a way. But I think for me, it would be lower than Captain America. I'd put it low A.
I was thinking like mid A, like between the two. Yeah. But I'm okay with low A. We're okay to take that. We need to stack up the A's anyway a little bit. That's fine. Yeah, that's good.
That's
I'm
good.
Okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree completely on that. It was set up to fail, but had some good points to deliver on. And I really liked a lot of the character development that went on in this film too. Yeah, it was good. It's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Would agree. Iron Man 1,
Yeah,
which is obviously the start of the MCU.
Great.
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 I would chuck this. I don't. Where would you chuck it?
Yeah, well, I'm actually thinking some people might be upset about this because I know it's like one of their favourite ones ever because of the introduction of the character. But for me, it's middle of the road A.
I would say it's probably third. I'd probably put it
Yeah,
maybe
middle of the
before.
road. Yeah, second?
I'd put it second in A tier. Purely, it's a seriously good film. I think a lot of people have a bit of a nostalgia effect to it. I just don't like. In terms of the story, I think those in those in S have a better story. Simple as that.
In the first probably 5 years of Marvel films, it probably would have been pretty high up on that S tier. But some of the stuff that's released since, as you can see based on that list, it's yeah. Look, it's a great film. I think middle of the road A, pretty good.
Yep.
Yep.
The next one, very interested to chat about. Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2, is that...
That's the one with Mickey Rourke, and it's the guy who
they make their own robots. They got their crappy version of them.
No.
Iron Man,
That's
3?
3. Iron Man 2's the one with Mickey Rourke, and it's like they're driving the F1 circuit, and he attacks him because he
he's got the whips.
created the plan. Yeah, he created the plan, and
I'm going to be honest here.
I
on this
really thought it was very average.
Thank you. Okay, cool. I won't have to be honest then. We're thinking very the same. Kind of middle of the road for me.
I think it's like I genuinely think it's like more C tier for me.
Yeah. Look, I'm okay with that. I don't think it beats.
Like to be honest,
it doesn't beat
and
anything
I think
in B.
the reason why, and I think the reason why is I can sit here and tell you all the films in C are B's plot. For C,
Well, you heard how much I struggled with it.
For Iron Man 2, I sat there and I just told you what I knew. The fact that it had Mickey Rourke and
Jason Momoa, wasn't it?
no,
Was that number 3 again?
Jason Momoa was not starred in any MCU film.
Oh,
That's Aquaman. That's Aquaman. I'd actually chuck it, not even kidding, like under multiverse.
Who's the dude that has the whips? Oh my god, I can remember his face
Mickey
now.
Rourke.
Yeah.
The old bloke, the old wrestler.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry. Apologies in advance, everyone, for watching this.
Now, Iron Man 3 is the one with the multiple suits. That's the one where it deals with the fake Mandarin.
Yep.
Trevor Slattery.
Yep.
I enjoyed it.
It's also the introduction of
The 10 Rings.
Yep, and what is Reese Witherspoon's character turn into? Is it Ironheart?
You mean Gwyneth Paltrow?
That's it.
Ironheart's also
I'm nailing this though.
Ironheart's also the woman from Black Panther, Riri Williams, I think her name was. Do you mean the fact that Gwyneth Paltrow just wears an Iron Man suit?
Isn't she like an iconic MCU character too?
Technically in some comics, but I think they made Ironheart the girl in Black Panther, the new Black Panther. Remember?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'd put it B. Like I think it's a decent film, and I think a lot of people were, I think, disappointed in the fact that when the Mandarin was introduced, everyone was really kind of keen for the fact that we'd have a seriously like scary villain who pulls strings behind like all the politicians and stuff, and then it just ended up being an actor, and everyone's like similar thing expectations. But I'd put it probably, not even kidding, like maybe behind Wakanda Forever at B.
Oh, I think you said C before.
Did I? No, that was for Iron Man 2.
Oh, okay.
Iron Man 3, I think, is a middle of the road. I think it's a good it's a good lighthearted film as well because it's got him going to that town with that little kid.
Yeah.
He falls into the town with a little kid, and the little kid kind of helps him along the way, and then he like has the whole epiphany about life and
he's in the Endgame. Endgame? That's the last one. Yeah, he's in Endgame.
Yeah, the funeral. At the funeral.
I was like, man, that's a great callback.
Yes. Correct.
That is a great callback.
Next one's interesting. Relatively recent film, Shang-Chi.
Look, first half of the film, I'm like, this is the sickest fighting thing ever. And then, like, some of the middle of the road part, I'm like, this fighting's still dope. Became a bit of a CGI fest at the end. Overall, the story was like, it was interesting, but it wasn't like captivating. For me, this is like a high B.
I'd actually be keen to chuck it like at the very top of B.
Yeah, high B, cool.
And the reason why is, as you said, I thought it was seriously well done.
Yeah.
Until the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was just...
And then it just became a CGI fest with all the dragons. But I thought the similar thing as to why I said like Guardians for me was so high is because it reintroduced something new to the MCU, which is something hard to come by when I think it's 30 films in now.
Yeah.
You had the martial arts and it was so uniquely directed compared to usually other Marvel films. You had that introduction of that kind of side of things. Even though it's a superhero, it's very grounded, which is why I got to give that props.
Agree completely.
Simple as that. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yep.
Which is the first one in obviously the Spider-Man series in the MCU. Where would you deal with, excuse me, the Vulture and...
This is difficult for me, and this is why your opinion is probably going to be the one that should weigh higher on this than myself, because I've always really loved Spider-Man. If some guy just said he was Spider-Man and wasn't wearing the suit, I'd probably still like him. For me, this is like low S. Like, I love Spider-Man that much. Or actually, I don't know if it was better than Endgame.
No, I'd actually probably chuck it low A.
Yeah, actually,
I'd chuck it below Guardians.
I think, it's not far below Civil War, but it's definitely not above Endgame for me. It is above Iron Man, though.
You reckon?
For me, that's what I said. For me, it's above.
See,
Iron
I
Man.
reckon.
Sorry, I forgot Endgame. We put into A.
Yeah, look, I'm already gonna chuck that like there. I think it's better than Civil War.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I love that one the most. For me, that was like top.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd be inclined to chuck it like probably there for me. Just behind Captain America. Only reason why is I think you had the introduction of Spider-Man and the Vulture was a very well done villain. And I thought it was a very well made film and introduction of Spider-Man in the MCU.
Yeah.
I just don't think in comparison with like the Tobey Maguire films, you had something to compare it by, and I don't think that's better than the first I think it's better than the third one, but I don't think that's better than first or two, for instance.
I'm okay with that. As I said, I'd have a bit of a skewed bias. Skewed bias
now,
on this, yeah.
Far From Home. Which is the one where they travel to Italy with Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. This one, I think, is a very average movie.
Yeah, good.
You also think the same?
I
think it's just like
I like what it's set up, though. As in, like, I really enjoyed the sequel to this. Like, the rest of the universe part that it's going to set up and what we're going to experience. And
yeah.
Who's Spider-Man's best mate in this film? What's his name again?
Ned.
Can't wait to see him hopefully become evil in the next bunch of movies.
The Hobgoblin.
The Hobgoblin, because of the events that happened, realistically because of this film. So it set up some good stuff, so it gets some extra props. But me, it's mid-B. It's probably on par with Wakanda Forever, for me, that is.
Wait, No Way Home's the one that set up Ned's arc?
I'm just saying the events of this is what set up a film that I enjoyed more. Is what I'm saying. Is it had some good...
Where would you chuck it? Mid-B?
I'd say mid-B. For me, it's above Wakanda Forever, but the acting was like phenomenal in Wakanda. I've got to.
I'm happy to chuck it behind Wakanda Forever.
I'm okay with that. We're thinking similar.
Far From Home, No Way Home, which I think a lot of people extremely love, but I think if you take away any nostalgia effect of recurring villains coming back and heroes, I think it's a very average movie.
Well, here's the thing.
I'd chuck it like the lowest of A. Personally, we may not, but only reason why is because I think I had so much hype watching it and I loved it when it came out, but like rewatching it, I think it's got a seriously average plot that really relies on the fact that these characters come back. I do think it has good character development for Parker though, like Tom Holland, sorry. And I think the ending really sets up for something intriguing in the future of the MCU.
Yes.
For Spider-Man's character. But I think other than that, I think it relies too much heavily on what's preceded it.
Yeah, okay. I actually thought you were going to rate it worse, so I'm actually pretty happy.
I'd personally I'd chuck it like
it's for me. It's middle A again, so I'm okay to maybe just below the lowest one on A. Sorry, just above the one.
Do you think it's better? It's a better film than the first Spider-Man, though.
Well, it's hard, right? Because you got to look at every film for like what its aspect is, for the whole thing it's telling. And you're right, plot was actually air, and the only thing it had going for it was like these nostalgic feels. But that doesn't matter. the film had those nostalgic feels, and that's actually what makes it fantastic. So it doesn't matter if it was only good because of that. It was just good because they were in there.
No, but more what I'm saying is the plot is actually, or essentially the best way to put it is the plot is very, very average, but I think people are blinded by it, by the fact that they sit there and go, oh, I'm getting Andrew and Toby back, if that makes more sense. Not the fact that they were in it, so...
Yeah, no, but where I can only judge on based what was actually in the film, for me, it's below the first one, but I don't
More
think
better than Guardians 2?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm like, yep.
The Incredible Hulk.
Are we throwing back a few years here?
That's the second film in the MCU, I think, which technically it might even be the first. It's the one with Ed Norton, which is actually part of the MCU.
That was my next question. I wasn't sure if
Ed Norton was recasted as Mark Ruffalo because he's notoriously hard to work with. But it has like the Abomination who's in Shang-Chi. Like it's and at the end of the film in the post-credit scene, it has General Ross, who's in all the Marvel films pretty much. So it is part of it, but...
Man, I haven't even thought about this film as in like being in this. I think I really enjoyed this film, but I think I might have been quite young when it came out, and that's why I enjoyed it so much.
To be honest...
For me, it's like a middle of the road.
I'd be happy to chuck it. Like, I don't know where I want to chuck it because personally I've seen it once, which is in cinemas. I could not remember for the life of me what happens in this film apart from like I remember Hulk and Abomination running at each other at the end in the middle of a road.
It was pretty dope.
It was cool.
I remember really enjoying this when I was younger, but I think it's because it's been so long. It's just so hard. So I'm thinking like low B to high C.
I'd be happy to chuck it like in front of...
Yeah, put it there.
I'd think better than...
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I'm okay.
Middle
there.
of C?
Yeah, just like a middle C. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. The next one, Thor 1. So getting on to our last, I guess, series of the MCU. Last four movies and last series, which are all Thor. The only character who has 4 movies. Soon to be Spider-Man, but yeah. There you go. Little fact for you fans at home.
Look,
Thor 1, I thought was quite good.
Here, yeah, it's quite good. It's not like unreal.
I'd actually be happy to chuck it right at the end of A. Yeah. And the reason why is because I think if you watch this film, the fact, like the mythology it deals with and like the way it's directed was so well done. Similar thing, it was the first one, like it obviously was the first one to deal into Asgard. If you actually go watch that film now, Asgard looks so cool. And then in the later films, it just looks so shit. Like it's so golden and it looks illustrious and it looks unreal. Obviously, you have the introduction of Loki and Thor.
He's a fantastic character. Both of them ended up being quite fantastic characters.
Yeah, I'd be happy to chuck it right at the end of A.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Because I think it's a very good film. I don't think it's better than any of those preceding it. I do enjoy it more than Shang-Chi, though. That's the only way.
It's high B, low A, so I'm okay to leave it where it is. That's fine.
Yeah. Thor 2, which is the next one in the Marvel Thor series, which obviously deals with the Dark Elf, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Which I thought very average movie.
I have had a couple of goes of watching this, but I haven't actually finished it all fully. I think it's because it didn't overly grasp me, but also I don't think I've actually spent. It
introduced the red Infinity Stone. I remember that.
Which was a key aspect in some of the following.
But we need to mark it on the film it is rather.
I will let you mark this, but for me, it's like a C.
Yeah, no, like I'd be happy to chuck it right here in front of Black Widow.
Yeah, so middle to low C.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'd be happy to chuck it there. The next one, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Which I genuinely think for me is top 3.
Top 3?
Bro, Thor Ragnarok is so good.
Top 3.
No, let's talk for a second. Let's talk about why I'm going to do this. Let's talk about why I'm going to say this. This film is so good. You had the fact that obviously Thor went through the serious character development within the Endgame series, right?
Yeah.
You obviously deal with him in this film, but you introduce Hera and the fact that I believe Loki died in this film, but you introduced Korg first of all.
Yep.
That's all I got to say. No, but you had to seriously, like, you deal with you had Jeff Goldblum as you had the whole side story with Hulk and Thor on that planet. But other than that, like, it's funny hard to put it into words. I think it's probably the funniest MCU film apart from Guardians 1. It is so funny.
I
And
do agree with that.
Korg is probably my favorite MCU character. And he's so good.
Yeah.
I can't not, like, I think it's genuinely, and I would watch this film once a year. I'm not even kidding. Like,
is.
Guardians and Ragnarok and are probably two of the Marvel films I would rewatch the most.
Look, it is a good film. Would you be upset if I said it was around like the A? Because it's probably top 5 for me. Once again,
I'm about to fucking.
this is actually probably, man, it's hard, but it's like if I could put equal movies on like top 3, it would be on top 3 with probably a couple other films for me. It does beat some of the choices in S, so it's.
See, I would personally put it just above the first Avengers. And the reason why is I think
Yes,
it's a better story and like better character development and
it is beautiful. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna agree on that.
We've actually had pretty similar opinions.
We actually have. We've
This
kind of
one?
mediated this
Can
one.
we just skip it?
Thor: Love and Thunder, which is one of the latest MCU films, which came out in 2022 July, which I was super keen for, as we just discussed. Ragnarok. Top 3 MCU films, top 5 MCU films for us.
Yep.
Waititi coming back to direct it. I was super excited. The fact that you had Christian Bale as a villain, also super excited. Phenomenal actor. However, in saying that, I think this film's going straight to D.
Yeah. Is there one below? It would probably go there.
I don't think it has aspects that are really good,
Yep.
but I think overall it is a poor movie.
Yeah. Look, Gore was great for the first 20 minutes, but I've actually read a lot of the comics due to my friend Paul. He's shown me a lot of the stuff, and Gore is.
Shout out to Paul. If
Shout
you're
out to
watching.
Paul, mate. You probably not even.
We know you're not watching, Paul.
You know, Paul.
Paul.
Thank you for showing me Gore. Gore is like
Oh,
unreal.
he's a seriously
and
cool
he's
character, and it was severely.
demonic, and he's so unhuman-like. And in this film, they kind of give him.
He was severely
He gave his
unutilized.
best crack.
He
Like,
was
Christian Bale gave his
underutilized.
Best crack, but
He was creepy. He almost reminded me of like the Death from Puss in Boots, the way he was introduced in scenes where you dealt with the shadows and you just see his eyes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then you see that in one scene. I think it's straight to D. Looking at this, I can see that Marvel films, they have a lot of great movies.
They do.
Except for one.
unfortunately,
Oh, well, not even. I'd say like the C onwards, they're okay.
something has to go in D, and there's not many. There's no movie worse than it.
Actually, no. Captain Marvel definitely had aspects to enjoy.
Should we do some standard deviation, or is that just too much of a pain? in the
No,
ass?
we can look. We can. What are you thinking?
Well, standard deviation, so you got to have, a little bit smaller in D's and C's, most in B, a little bit smaller in A, really small in S. So let's just start throwing some things down. So Captain Marvel above Thor. Yeah, I'm okay with pretty much just our order being dragged down on that one.
What, Eternals?
No, I'm okay for you to leave Eternals in B, I reckon.
That equals out. I think it's a decent film, but I think it's probably top of the line. C.
Black Widow, the second one.
Yeah.
Well, second one, the first one, really.
Like, you want to go take it?
Yeah, top of D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they're bad films. It's just they're not great.
We got probably too many S tier films. I feel like
It's a big call.
I know.
Yeah, they're all great movies.
Well, this is our issue, isn't it? Is there's too many great films.
I could potentially just. I reckon that looks good to me.
It does look good, but
Except
I feel
it
like
hurt your
now
soul looking at Civil War in A.
it does, but it hurts my soul more than if Civil War is in A, that Thor's in A. Thor would have to go to high B if Civil War's in A.
Well, no, but in saying that,
Put Civil
that's
War-
top of the
no,
line.
Put it back
A.
to S. Put it back to S. Come on, it's not good enough.
In saying that, that's top of the line A.
Yeah.
There is a fair, all that's saying is Thor is better than these films, mainly. But it's not better than these.
See, I reckon I like Civil War more than I like Winter Soldier.
No, I won't allow that. You need to go. You need to go rewatch.
I do need a refresher if you watch most of this video.
I think actually, Civil War is the best rated MCU film. I think.
Well, people are entitled to their opinions, even if they're wrong. That's why we're doing a ranking system. Where my opinion.
Well, Civil War was really built off Captain America because Captain America, Winter Soldier was the one where he was really pitted against Shield, and Natasha went rogue, and he was working against all of S.H.I.E.L.D. because S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra. That was the whole...
Yeah.
And it was like that film where it first really got political, and you obviously have the introduction of Winter Soldier, which is now a ripping character for Marvel. Like, he's seriously good character, but...
I'm okay with the way you've got it, I guess.
We want to leave it there.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I think that's fine.
To be fair, A is still great movies. Like,
Yeah.
A is an 8.5, 9 out of...
Like, this is us being picky. Like,
Yeah.
Black Widow, I still, despite it being a D tier, I wouldn't give it less than, if we were doing out of 10, I still wouldn't give it less than a 5.
Well, that technically would be less than a 5.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how
we're trying to make it
great
look...
these films are, that even like ones who are like middle of the road are still like, they're middle of the road films, and they probably should be up at where B is middle of the road, but because there's so many good films, it just has to get pushed down. Something's got to be in D tier.
Well,
we can't just pick on Thor in his romantic
we need to.
acts.
It's not great. Other than that, let us know what you think in the comments. Obviously, this is a end of Phase 4 film, celebration of Phase 5 starting. Let us know in the comments what you think of our rating. If you do hate it, don't bother telling us. We don't care. If you have any opinions on where certain films should be, do comment. But at the same time, as we said, this is our opinion, subjective.
Yeah.
By all means, if you love Thor, Love and Thunder,
Keep it yourself.
I actually respect you, and I wish I could be as ignorant. And other than that, I guess we'll come back next week with our review of Ant-Man Quantumania, and I guess we'll probably be able to even say this goes straight to the bottom of D because it might not be great. But who knows? It could be very good.
Look, it looks real sick.
I've heard okay things from the premiere. One review said, this is a great entry to what films are to come. So it's like, in other words, it's like all this film's done is
like it's the middle book. It's like just building up the rest.
All it's done is this film like exists to, I don't know. Who knows? We could really enjoy it. I think Kang looks great. So other than that, feel free to comment below. Let us know what you think and subscribe for more.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.